Assalamualaikum and hi. I'm from Group 2. My name is Aina Husna binti Dewa. My metric number is 68962. Our group will present about satisfaction in online learning among students from the Human Resource Development Program in UNIMAS. For the introduction, online learning is a learning platform that uses electronic technology or media. Online learning can be defined as learning that takes place partly or entirely over the internet. The online learning can be used everywhere, anytime, that has no limit. The COVID-19 pandemic, which has been the cause of the face-to-face learning system obstruction, so the existence of an online learning system can continue the learning season easily. For the background of study, this study has conducted to identify the factors that influence the satisfaction of HRD students in undergoing the online learning process. The factor is of learning environment, participant and attention, time management, internet facility and platform, and method of assessment can influence student motivation in carrying out the online learning process. So online learning session need to be conducted well and systematically to obtain the information presented by the instructor well.
So now I will be continue presenting the statement of problem. Before that, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Nurul Afifah binti Zulkifli and my metric number is 71152. There have 3 points in this statement of problem, which is first, there are various factors that might be affected HRD student satisfaction in online learning. And the second point is, the purpose of this study is to find out the reason satisfaction of the student in online learning, because there have a few of students that dissatisfaction in online learning. And the last point is, it is important to investigate the satisfaction of students in online learning because it can help to improve the skill of online learning to more effective and students satisfied with it. That's all from me, and now I will be passed to the next presenter. Thank you.
I want to introduce, my name is Masinda binti Daud and my number metric is 70330. Okay, I will elaborate about our main objective, our specific objective and our V-variate. Okay, firstly, our main objective is to determine the satisfaction in online learning among HRD students. Our specific objective is to determine the demographic attribute of HRD student. Secondly is to determine the main score of all variables in the study. Okay, then our V-variate is to find out if there is any significant difference between gender and student significant in online learning. Secondly is to find out if there is any relationship between learning environment and student significant in online learning. Number 3 is to find out if there is any relationship between attention and participant and student significant in online learning. Number 4 is to find out if there is any relationship between time management and student significant in online learning. Number 5, to find out if there is any relationship between internet facilities and platform on student significant in online learning. To find out if there is any relationship between method of assessment and student satisfaction in online learning is number 6. And lastly is to find out if there is any relationship between constructor roles and student satisfaction in online learning. So this all our 7 V-variates, and this all for me. Thank you.
I'm going to talk about the research question in this study. The first research question is, what are the demographic attributes of HRD students? Second research question is, what is the mean score of learning environment factor affecting HRD students? Research question number 3 is, what is the mean score for attention and participation factor affecting HRD students? Number 4 is, what is the mean score for time management factor affecting HRD students? Number 5, what is the mean score for internet facilities and platform affecting HRD students? Research question number 6 is, what is the mean score for method of assessment factor affecting HRD students? While the last research question is, what is the mean score for... I'm going to proceed with the hypothesis in this study. The first hypothesis is there is no significant difference in terms of student satisfaction between male and female students. Second hypothesis is there is no relationship between learning environment and student satisfaction in online learning. Hypothesis number 3 is there is no relationship between attention and participation and student satisfaction in online learning. Number 4, there is no relationship between time management and student satisfaction in online learning. While number 5 is there is no relationship between internet facilities and platform and student satisfaction in online learning. Hypothesis number 6 is there is no relationship between method of assessment and student satisfaction in online learning. And the last hypothesis is there is no relationship between instructors' roles and student satisfaction in online learning.
For Chapter 3, Research Design, this study was conducted using quantitative method. This study examined and collect all data and information about satisfaction in online learning among HRD students. This study also used a questionnaire method to collect all data and information. For population is among HRD students. For the number of sample is 60 respondent, which is male. For Malay, 8 respondent, and non-Malay has 8 respondent. For the total for male respondent is 16 respondent. For the female Malay, 30 respondent. For non-Malay, 14 respondent. For the total female respondent is 44 respondent. For sampling method is sampling method and sampling random method. For unit of analysis is individual. Method of data collection has 2. For first method is primary data, which is questionnaire. For the secondary data, which is literature research.
Hi, my name is Roni Anangada. My metric number is 7150. This is the instrument development. For the first is develop research question in hypothesis. Second is plan research design, and they have 2 parts, which is measurement and sampling. After that, we collect the data collection, and then data processing, and the last one is data analysis and interpretation. So is pilot test. The pilot test was using 60 samples from the students' populations. Before constructing the questionnaire, the important thing is we need to check the question carefully to avoid any careless errors and negligence. Second is social responsibility. The questionnaire needs to be neat and easy to understand, such as the language that uses in this question in the questionnaire is English and Malay. Third is non-discrimination. Avoid the discrimination against students on the basis of gender or other factors that are not related to the questionnaire. And then number 4 is honesty. When we collect the data or sharing the data, we need to honesty in report the data, result, and the methods.
So first of all, the data collection process, we use survey questionnaire as the instrument, and it is distributed to every HRD students, and we got 60 students participated in this questionnaire. The questionnaire were distributed in a span of 1 week, starting from 28th of May until June 4th, 2020. The data gathered were analyzed by using SPSS software, and we already conducted a reliability test, and the Cronbach alpha value for this is 0.824, which is reliable. The demographic attribute that we analyze is gender. So there is 2 genders, male and female. So in total of 60 respondents, there are 44 were women and 16 were men. So it concludes that 73.3% of it are women and 26.7% of it are men. It is shown by descriptive data. For the univariate objective, we calculate the mean score of each factors, and it shows that environment factor have the mean score of 3.86. Participation factor have the mean score of 3.15. Time management factor have the mean score of 2.67. Internet factor have the mean score of 3.68. Method of assessment factor have the mean score of 3.43, and also the last one is lecture factor, which it have
3.79 mean score. Independent tests were conducted to find out if there is any significant difference between gender and level of satisfaction, and the p-value of this independent t-test is 0.349, which is higher than the alpha value. Lastly, one sample test was conducted to determine whether we will accept or reject the null hypothesis. For each factor, it shows the p-value of it. So for environment factor, the p-value of it is 0. Participation factor 0.228, time management factor 0.17, internet factor 0, method of assessment 0.02, and lecturer it is 0. So I will give it to the next presenter to explain and discuss about the data.
Next, I'm going to talk about the discussion on findings in Chapter 4. I'm going to talk about the first two specific objectives under univariate objective. The first objective under univariate objective is to determine the demographic attribute of HRD students. The research question under this objective is, what are the demographics attribute of HRD students? The findings of this objective has found that the findings of percentage of gender, male and female. The percentage of male that participated in this study is 26.7%, while female is 73.3%. The second univariate objective is to determine the mean score of all variables in the study. The first variable is learning environment factor affecting HRD students. The mean score of this is 3.8611. Secondly, the mean score of attention and participation factor is 3.1500. The third factor is time management factor, while this mean score is 2.6750. The fourth one, internet and facilities and platform factor affecting HRD students. The mean score of this factor is 3.68893. The fifth one is methods of assessment factor affecting HRD students. The mean score of this factor is 3.4333. And the last one is factor of instructor's role affecting HRD students. The mean score of this is 3.7944. All of these variable or factor is using the descriptive statistic as the data analysis technique. Next, I'm going to talk about the bivariate objective. There are 7 bivariate objectives in the study. The first one is to find out if there is any significant difference between gender and student satisfaction in online learning. The hypothesis under this objective is there is no significant difference in terms of student satisfaction between male and female students. The findings of this objective is when p equals to 0, the p-value is equals to 0.0349, which means that p is more than 0.005. And the data analysis technique is used in this objective is independent sample t-test. Hence, this hypothesis is accepted because p-value is more than 0.005. Second objective is to find out if there is any relationship between learning environment and students' satisfaction in online learning. The hypothesis is there is no relationship between learning environment and student satisfaction in online learning. The findings is p-value is equals to 0.000, which means that p-value is less than 0.005. The data analysis technique used in this study is one sample test, and hence this hypothesis is rejected because the p-value is less than 0.005, which is the Cronbach alpha value. The third one is to find out if there is any relationship between attention and participation and student satisfaction in online learning. The hypothesis is there is no relationship between attention and participation and student satisfaction in online learning. So the findings is p-value is equal to 0.200 to 0.22, which means that the p-value is more than the Cronbach alpha value 0.005. Hence, this hypothesis is accepted. The fourth one is to find out if there is any relationship between time management and student satisfaction in online learning. The hypothesis of this objective is there is no relationship between time management and student satisfaction in online learning. The findings of this is p-value equals to 0.017, and which means that the p-value is more than 0.005, and that this hypothesis is accepted. The next one is to find out if there is any relationship between internet facilities and platform and student satisfaction in online learning. The hypothesis is there is no relationship between internet facilities and platform and student satisfaction in online learning. The finding of this study is p equals to 0.000, which means that the p is less than the Cronbach's alpha value 0.005. So this hypothesis is rejected. The next one is to find out if there's any relationship between method of assessment and student satisfaction in online learning. The hypothesis of this is there is no relationship between method of assessment and student satisfaction in online learning. The findings of this objective is p values is equal to 0.0022, which means that p is less than 0.005. And this hypothesis is rejected because the p value is less than the Cronbach's alpha value. And the last objective is to find out if there is any relationship between instructor's role and student satisfaction in online learning. The hypothesis is there is no relationship between instructor's role and student satisfaction in online learning. However, the findings has found that the p value is equal to 0.000, which means that p is less than the Cronbach's alpha value, which is 0.005. Hence, this hypothesis is also rejected. All of this bivariate objective is using one sample test.
Hello and salam sejahtera, Sir Shahrin. I am Phoenicia Anna Jiniap, matrix number 69727. I'll be presenting two parts of chapter 5, which is contributions and limitations of the study. First of all, there were three contributions have been identified from the study. Firstly, contributions toward community. Students have resulted from academic research in social, behavior, and management which concern with benefits of undergraduate satisfaction toward online learning. Secondly, contributions toward methodology, where this study using questionnaires made from Google Form, and this method may be very useful for future researchers in the same field of this study. Last but not least, contributions toward knowledge. The knowledge identifying satisfaction on online learning, especially among HRD students, is important so that researchers are able to know how does this study will affect performances and engagement in study. Research limit is the research sample representing a single area of participants, and only 60 HRD participants were involved in this research. Therefore, population constraint cannot generalize the entire population of students on the satisfaction towards online learning. That's all from me.